Greetings one and all, this is Rhythmworks and welcome to my channel with an E3 double whammy. Talking about Ubisoft and Sony's press conference that was held yesterday. I watched both of them and I watched both of them live. A couple of my friends were basically saying, why are you watching that thing live? Why can't you just watch it on catch up? I said, nah man, I've got to watch the thing live, you get what I'm saying? So I watched Ubisoft at 9 o'clock p.m. British Standard Time or Greenwich Mean Time in old money, and I watched Sony's press conference, which was 2 o'clock in the morning, in the AM. And a little bit slightly worse for wear, but everything's good, it's all good. And I just want to give you my highlights. I just want to keep it condensed. You know, I don't want to go into the ins and out and every single thing that was going on in both conferences. I'm just telling you my highlights, my personal highlights, because they might differ from other people. Some people might have liked the whole thing. Some people just could not give a shit about any conference or even E3 as a matter of fact. But these are my highlights as per usual as to what raised my eyebrows, opened my ears, opened my eyes, got my brain thinking about the forthcoming game releases from Ubisoft and also from Sony. So, first of all, let's start with Ubisoft. Now, the first thing I saw was Crew 2. Raised my eyebrow because the original Crew game from Ubisoft was, it was pretty cool to play, but you've played one racing game, you've played them all. But the difference is this time around, you've got different modes of transport to actually play with, to level up your character or to level up your car or what have you. Here's the thing with me. Rockstar's been doing that with Grand Theft Auto for a long time as part of their DLC. So as much as I appreciate the difference within the Crew game itself, but with Crew 2, it's not doing anything different to what Rockstar's been doing. I think with the Crew, it's more centralized towards racing and stuff like that. But I think with me personally, I like to get more bang for my buck. You know, I want to have the option of playing tennis, you know, or playing poker or playing darts, as well as basically driving around in a car, playing bike, dune buggy or what have you. You know what I'm saying? And once I can get all that in one game, I'm not really going to move to another game for that. But the Crew 2's out there, looks pretty good. You know, it's going to appeal to, but for me, not really. Did I mention highlights? Not really off to a good start, am I? But that's the thing that kind of caught my attention. Okay, next thing was in their VR department, and it was called, Transference, which had a little featuring Elijah Wood, you know, some kind of mindfuck trailer, as I'd like to put it. Interesting, but there's no gameplay. But the suggestion that, you know, that this thing is gonna basically give you a mindfuck is appealing to me somewhat, you know. And with VR being VR, it's gonna be the experience that is gonna be the selling point of it. But up to this point, I don't know what the experience is. It's just some talking heads and stuff. But Transference, that was interesting. Next up we had, Skull and Bones, which in comparison to Xbox's game, Sea of Thieves, is like night and day, I guess. You know, it's like Plants vs. Zombies and Call of Duty, I guess, in terms of shooters. But in terms of the game, the pirate genre, Skull and Bones look pretty good, looks pretty decent, with a soundtrack that was a cover of Seal's Crazy, you know, which seems to be the trend nowadays. You take popular songs and just slow the shit right down and stuff, you know what I mean? But yeah, it looks pretty interesting. The multiplayer is appealing, I have to say. But yeah, no, it looks appealing. I gotta say, it looks appealing because there's different ways that the mechanics could be used to your benefit and what have you. And it was pretty much explained very well in the demo, I have to say. I can't knock it. Not to say that I was gonna try and knock it anyway, but you know, it was a good demo, to say the least. Okay, Far Cry 5, come on now. Pre-order. Pre-order, 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 pre-order. That's all I can say. It's already pre-ordered. Far Cry 5, what the fuck are you talking about, man? Come on now. I mean, Far Cry 3 for me was the game. I keep saying it and I will always say it. And I will always big up Ubisoft for it. Far Cry 3 was the game that got me into first-person shooters. Before that, it was all third-person shooters. Didn't give a toss about first-person shooters. But Far Cry 3, with the combination of that game and Vaz, are you kidding me? Wasn't really a fan of the Far Cry series up to that point, but it is cited amongst a lot of people that Far Cry 3 was, for them, one of the best iterations of the series. And Far Cry 5, come on, man, get the fuck out of it if you think I am not going to pre-order that shit. Right, and the last game that was a highlight for me, which seems to be a cult classic, was Beyond Good and Evil 2. I saw the game floating around on PlayStation 3. Was it PlayStation 3 or PlayStation 2? I can't remember, but I just didn't have no interest in the game whatsoever, you know, but it seemed to strike a note amongst a lot of people to the point where people were crying and shit, you know. So I like the look of the game. I like the tone of the game. You know, I like the voice acting. Yeah, it's interesting game. I have to see what the fuss was about to begin with Beyond Good and Evil 1. But it was emotional. It looked very emotional. People were emotional about that shit. So yeah, I'm gonna investigate that game in one way, shape or form. Right, so that is Ubisoft done and dusted. Next up is Sony. Now, before I even go any further with Sony's press conference, I have to say that press conference went so freaking quick in comparison to like Bethesda and Xbox. I mean, granted, they had the Xbox One X to basically promote and to hype up and what have you. It seemed longer. Maybe it was longer for them. Maybe Sony's conference was the shortest out of the two. I don't know. But it just seemed hella short to me. As you know, as soon as I was getting into it, it's like, you know, dude came out and says, "Oh, thank you very much. Good night. Thank you. Enjoy the ride." Boom, done. So that for a start, for the fact that it just whooshed by, got Sony brownie points, I have to say. But anyway, let's get on with the games. Right, Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, pre-ordered. I mean, what can I tell you? It's pre-ordered. I'm a Naughty Dog fan, but at the same time, you know, not a fan of some of their practices, but at the same time, you know, Naughty Dog, you mentioned Naughty Dog and it's synonymous with quality. Storytelling, quality mechanics, quality gameplay. You know, you can't really go wrong with Naughty Dog, but I just think Naughty Dog needs to kind of fix up when it comes to The Last of Us 2, which didn't get mentioned. And the fact was, I didn't even miss it. I didn't even miss the lack of The Last of Us 2 news or images or gameplay as such. I didn't miss it, I have to say, which for me is a good thing. It is definitely a good thing. So with Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, it's a smart move to omit The Last of Us 2 simply because of other games that were basically featured, which I will go into in a minute. But yeah, Uncharted: Lost Legacy, pre-ordered. It's already pre-ordered digitally. Okay, another game, Days Gone. I have to admit, and I think this is a common consensus amongst a lot of people that saw the game last year, they felt a bit underwhelmed simply because of the fact that it was yet another zombie genre game. And I totally understand that, and I'm not really a zombie game player, but when you get to the point where you watch a zombie game and you're just tired of watching them, much less playing them, then you know it's just overplayed, absolutely overplayed. But having said that, watching new footage of Days Gone and watching how the zombies were basically used to effect in the demo was pretty novel and pretty new to me, you know what I mean? And that kind of woke me up in relation to the game itself, you know what I'm saying? It's like it just had a different vibe about it altogether when more was revealed as to how you can use the zombies to your own advantage, as it were. And I like that. I really like that. So, you know, so I'm not giving up on the zombie genre just yet, but, you know, That's the only one I think I can manage and stomach right about now. No, I think stomach is a strong word to put on it. But yeah, the interest is basically there. Okay, another game which kind of falls in the same category as Beyond Good and Evil 2, which is Shadow of the Colossus, which I stupidly thought was a new game. I thought it was a new game. Such was my disinterest into the original Shadow of the Colossus. You know, I just thought it was a new game. And it was one of those games that evoked emotion yet again, because I think it's the same makers of that game that made The Last Guardian, I think. I'm not sure, don't quote me on that. But those two games seems to, you know, be tied in together in terms of, you know, the association, just the association, you know, of the two games. You know, The Last Guardian, a game that was basically being made in the process of being made for like donkey's years, and Shadow of the Colossus, which was a game that a lot of people enjoyed, but I just didn't have my radar out on that game, to be honest with you. So yeah, and it looks absolutely stunning. Looks absolutely stunning to watch, you know. So knowing what I know about ports and stuff like that, I think the price is going to be reflective of that. I think the price is going to be pretty cheap to get. So yeah, got my eye out on that one. COD World War II. Yes, it's more or less a done deal. The trailer looks awesome. It just really reminded me of Battlefield 1, and I'm not going to basically suggest anything in relation to who had the idea for, you know, past war conflicts. That's just done and dusted. I'm just taking COD World War II at face value, and from what I'm seeing, it looks the same. It looks the same as Battlefield 1. But it's different, and I know it's different, you know, and yeah, I think a few of my friends are going to be getting it, so, you know, I can't be left out of that situation. On Your Six Squad's going to be running that shit for shizzle, my nizzle. Right, okay, so now from there we went into VR, which was pretty interesting. At that point, my stream froze, so I don't know if there was a previous game before this game I'm going to mention. Star Child. Yeah, it looked okay. Platformer looked okay. Looked okay to me. The Impatient looked okay. Looked okay to me. Monster of the Deep, Final Fantasy 15, I do believe that was. Okay, looked okay. But the one game that really kind of pricked my ears up, opened up my eyes, was Bravo Team. You know, looked like a proper bona fide first-person shooter in the first-person shooter vein, if you like. That really caught my eye, and it'd be interesting to see how it basically plays out. With my experience with Farpoint up to this point, like what I did there. Farpoint up to this point, it's pretty much a space shooter, but with Bravo Team, like I said, it's more of a contemporary first-person shooter vibe in the VR vein. So it'll be pretty interesting to see how that pans out. Okay, next up we had God of War, and I just want to put up a picture of Kratos. Is that his name? As you can tell, I'm not really adept at the lore of God of War, but Kratos looks just like my mate, one of my PSN friends, Hitman69. Looks exactly like him. I mean, barring the red stripe across his boat race, you know what I mean? Looks just like my mate Hitman. So if you've been watching my videos, my Inglorious Ballbag videos, and you're hearing Hitman, that's what he looks like. I swear to God, that's what he looks like. But aside of that, yeah, God of War, never been a huge fan of the franchise, but it seems to be a game that for people who weren't fans of the franchise can jump in, because it's actually taking a whole different slant altogether in comparison to the other iterations of God of War, which I think is good. You know, if you make franchises inclusive to new people, coming into the franchise. That can only be a good thing, because people can be put off by jumping into a franchise that people are more than steeped in, and you know, they don't want to feel like they're absolute noobs. They're interested in the lore of the game. They're interested in the game itself, and I just think it's just something to be welcomed. You know, not be shunned away because you've never played the other 15 iterations. You know what I'm saying? You know, so it's all good. So God of War, yet another game that has grabbed my attention. Okay, what else is there? Detroit. Oh my gosh, is it? I forgot the company that makes it, but it reminds me of Beyond and also Heavy Rain. So I'm pretty sure that they're basically made by the same people, because that's what it evokes from me. I'm not sure of the company, I'm not sure of the people who basically make it, but those are the games that comes to mind when I see Beyond. So I could be right, I could be wrong, but if I'm wrong, sue me. But yeah, it looks interesting. Looks interesting again, you know. Something worth investigating further. Be nice to see a little bit more gameplay, but I'm cool with that. You know, games that take long to make, I have more confidence in that game than games that just come out willy-nilly. Do you know what I mean? Yes, and it's available for you to download now. So, you know, Destiny 2 pre-ordered. It's pre-ordered. Anyone knows me knows that I play Destiny. Anyone knows me knows that I got my Inglorious Ballback clan. Anyone knows me that, you know, that gives a shit about my channel will know that I play Destiny. You know, it is my go-to game. And the piss of resistance, as Delroy Trotter would say, or Delboy Trotter would say, the piss of resistance, the pièce de résistance was Spider-Man. I mean, I didn't think that Spider-Man would have my jaw dropping. I didn't think it would do, honestly. It was like, Spider-Man. I thought it was going to be The Last of Us 2 or something like that. That was going to round it off. But Naughty Dog was smart to that. You know, don't need to do it. Anybody who has played The Last of Us 1 is going to invest their time and money into The Last of Us 2. It goes without saying, you know what I mean? So they can take as long as they like and don't show nothing, you know what I mean, apart from what they've already shown. And it's good. I'm good to go with that game. But Spider-Man was a game that, you know, when it was spoken about, did not give two flying shits about it, honestly. But then when I saw the game and saw how it was played, one IGN editor basically said what I was thinking, and he said that the Spider-Man that we have now has a more caring side to him, has a more caring side in terms of how he controls the environment, in terms of him having to save people while he fight against his arch enemies or his arch rivals, as it were. And I thought that was a good touch to see, but it just looks great, looks absolutely great, you know. And you know, to see that game in the PS4 Pro is gonna be a treat and a half, I guess, you know. So yeah, Spider-Man got me interested, which I never thought it would ever do, I have to say. Spider-Man was a game, well, Spider-Man as a character in video games, my son played a whole lot. And I remembered when he played the Spider-Man games of old, he just had the cartoony vibe about it. But this time around, it's got a kind of weird. It's like it's got the same film CGI kind of vibe about it when I see it, which can't be all bad. But anyway, yeah, Spider-Man basically closed the show, and it just went by. It just freaking went by. It was just games. Oh, hello. Games. Yeah, I'm back. Thanks for watching. Bye. That's what it was. And I loved it. Loved that. And I just loved the overall production of the conference. It looked pretty good, barring the sound issues at the beginning. But, you know, these things basically happen. But for a multi-billion-dollar company like freaking Sony, man, I mean, you could have sorted out your freaking audio. Do you know what I'm saying? But other than that, it was good. It was good for me, and I think it was good for gaming in general. You know, there's just a lot of games. I don't think anybody has got any reason to freaking bitch, moan, complain, grumble that there's nothing out there. You know what I mean? If that's what you're basically saying at the end of the two major presentations, then you need to just find something else to do, honestly. But anyway, that is all for me for now. And I just want to say thank you for watching. Thank you for stopping by. And as always, you done know the coup. Whatever the game, media, platform, format, genre, happy gaming, because that's what it's truly about, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, brothers and sisters. Please let me know what you thought of the Ubisoft and also the Sony presentations. What were your highlights? What were your lowlights? What didn't you see that you wanted to see? Yada yada yada. Were you happy with the time frame of releases and the release dates and the year of releases and all that kind of stuff? Please let me know. Be interested to get your vibe and to get your take on what you saw. Until I catch you on the next one, please gamers, stay blessed. My God.